We're at 4314 Ivanhoe Avenue. I believe this is Norwood. Doing a pre-purchase inspection, going through the small 2-inch stack at the rear left of the basement if you're facing the house. So we're going to just run the camera through, look for any kind of blockages, any structural issues, or root intrusion, things of that nature. The stack here is one of the stacks is PVC. The other vent is cast iron. I expect cast iron under the basement floor going into clay once it exits the building. Should be 3 to 4 inch underneath the concrete, expanding to 6 outside. So you should be able to tell when you transition from inside the house to outside. Okay, it actually looks like clay inside the house also, which is pretty good. It's fairly normal. It's either clay or cast iron in houses of this age. But clay doesn't oxidize, doesn't rust. So clay actually, as you can see, this looks pretty wide open. Which is good news. Sometimes with cast iron it'll start to rust and it kind of narrows the pipe a little bit just from the rust and stuff like that. So this looks really good so far. We're pushing out. You can see some of the connections. This looks like the clean out. If you look, the bottom of the pipe is on the top left of the picture there. You can see where the water's running, and there's an opening coming in right there. That is actually the clean out right before we exit the building, I believe. So we should see there is an offset here. Wow, looks like the pipe is dropped right at the foundation where it changes over to 6 inch. It does not look like this is impeding flow at all. It would have to be, it narrows the pipe by half, so it goes from a 4 inch down to about a 2 inch opening here. My camera will fit through it, so I can continue the inspection. It is dropping in, so the offset is, the downstream side is lower, so it's still flowing downhill, which is good. It doesn't look like it's causing any kind of a backup or anything like that. The pipe itself does look like it's wide open here. As you can see, there's no buildup of water. This stuff right here where there's a slight offset is normal. The bottom of the camera, the lens itself, is only about maybe a ½ inch above the bottom of the pipe. So this little bit of puddling here is pretty normal for a house this age. This is as they turn down these pipes, they're kind of loose. It's a male to female connection, and sometimes when they go to turn them, they can turn them slowly, and you'll have a little bit of these offsets there as it turns down. But as you can see, that's nothing it's impeding the camera or the water flow at all. It's just turning down to go deeper so that it can get down to the main in the street. hoping that we don't run into anything as it flattens out, which we may have just hit. This may be an issue with getting my camera over it. Looks like a pretty hefty offset. It doesn't seem like any solids are sitting in this spot, but it's a large enough offset where I'm going to try to get my camera to jump, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that. So I'm going to turn the mic off for a second, because I'm going to be making a little bit of noise trying to get this past here. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get my camera to jump that. I'm going to go out and get a locate to see if it's still on the property or if it's actually MSD's property. It may be something that if MSD is responsible for this, then it wouldn't be a problem for the homeowner. If it ever does cause an issue, it can be repaired, or should be repaired, by the Metropolitan Sewer District. So I'm going to pause here, go get a locate, and be back in a second. Okay, so the mark is right in the transition between where MSD takes over property of the sewer line. They usually say it's 10 to 15 feet from the curb line, and this is right at that point. So it's hard to tell whether they would take responsibility for this, but it's approximately 6 foot deep. It's right in the middle of the steps in the center of the walkway going out to the street, and it doesn't look like there's any backup or any issues. It looks like it should be being able to overtake that offset. The water is rising and overtaking it, so anything beyond, you know, I think any normal use of the sewer line should be fine. If you're using just toilet paper, and not using wet wipes or anything, anything major that shouldn't be flushed down a toilet. It looks like that is making its way down the pipe and overtaking that offset. Once the water rises up to that level, it just, rides right over it. So I'm going to pull back and continue recording here, but I'm unable to go any further. I will try to jump it once or twice more to see if my camera will do it, but that offset's the way the turn down is sitting. I think it's a little too high for my camera, and I can't put any other attachments on the camera because they won't fit through the clean out that I'm able to access. So, like I said, I'm going to record on the way back, and but this is as much progress as I can make. Okay, I've pulled all the way back out of the sewer line now. Again, I didn't see any indication that there's been any recent backups in the pipe itself. Didn't see any remnants of a backup on the top of the pipe at all. The flow line looked pretty clean. I think that everything has been going down the pipe pretty smoothly, but there was that offset that could be the early one is at least it's dropping downstream into the pipe, and that one would be pretty difficult to fix. They probably don't even know it's there just because of the placement. It's probably right at the foundation where it switches over. So, but the second one where my camera wouldn't jump, again, it doesn't look like there's any solids building up right there. So I think that the flow is is able to overtake it there, and that it will flow clearly as long as there's no strange things being put down the sewer line. So I'm going to end the inspection here at 4314 Ivanhoe Avenue.